to say this right off the top. Tyler is a big fan of smacking the couch and his legs while he's talking. So you gotta be a little patient with him during the episode while that's happening. You gotta be patient with me, because I can't figure out how to get rid of it. Now, welcome to another dive into the wonderful world of Camrose, Alberta, and all its inhabitants. This week, we interviewed Tyler Weenink, who is a very important person to Cale and myself. So a little bit about Tyler. He was raised in Rimbey, Alberta. He's currently in year 4 of 5 of a Bachelor of Science in Biology with a minor in Chemistry, and he picked up a minor in Physical Education just for and giggles. He's a devout Christian, a member of the Augustana men's basketball team from 2018 to the present year, an academic All-Canadian from 2018 to the present year, and he's now putting up 10 points, 6 rebounds on 55% shooting from the field as of this recording. Tyler and I were rocky when we met because I had my own preconceived notions about country boys, but Tyler proved me wrong very, very quickly. He became my brother, being in all our biology classes together, and he made that experience way more entertaining. Basketball also added to all of that, and then to culminate... Hello, Kat. To culminate that experience, we moved in together in the summer of 2019, and then Cale followed suit in the fall of 2020, and the rest is history. So Tyler, brother, thank you from Cale and I for sitting down and sharing your experience with us in the world. And for those of you listening, I hope you enjoy this week's episode of What Makes You Happy. So, welcome back. I am in Camrose this weekend, and the plan is to record 3 episodes in 2 days. I recorded with Nick yesterday, I'm recording with Tyler right now, and I'm recording with Sarah after this. So it's going to be lots of fun. A couple of things. There's people in the house, so if stuff happens. It's really not a big deal to me. Hopefully it's not a big deal to you. And Tyler, welcome, and thank you for sitting with me.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah?
I'm excited.
That's good. I'm sure we're going to get to cover lots of information about Tyler Weenink this week.
Okay.
So, little background. In 2018, I, myself, Tyler, Nicholas, Jaron, and Andrew were a part of the same recruiting class that came to Augustana, and that is when we met. And then from there, our relationship has flourished because Tyler and I moved into the house that we're currently recording in our second year, and he's lived here since then, and I lived there for a couple of years. So
same degree.
Yeah, exactly. We spent lots of time together in classes.
Racing some pill bugs around.
Exactly. In our lab, racing pill bugs, racing rolly chairs.
Yeah, bro.
Just to get to know you a little bit, Tyler. Not very many people may know where Rimbey, Alberta is, or what it was like coming up in such a small town. So if you just want to give them a little background.
Yeah, so it's pretty central. It's about 45 minutes west of Ponoka. Most people seem to know where Ponoka is. If not, it's about an hour north of Red Deer.
Right.
So it's a pretty small town, 2,500 people. Our biggest attraction is probably that we have a hospital. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of old people. But big surrounding farming community. So kind of grew up. I grew up in town, but kind of lived the farm lifestyle. Like most of my friends were on farms. Right. So spent a lot of time out there. So a little bit of a hybrid of town / rural farm boy. So
So would you say that this experience in Camrose is pretty close to what you were growing up with in Rimbey?
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to come to Camrose is it's such a nice in-between, right? Going from Rimbey to Camrose is a lot nicer and a lot more, like you get adjusted to somewhat city life, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're definitely in a bigger city, bigger than what I grew up with, but yet it's still fairly small. It's not like Edmonton or Calgary, which is quite a big jump coming from Rimbey. So I've definitely really, really enjoyed Camrose just for that. Like it's still got that small town vibe. Right. Small town. Everybody knows each other at the school, stuff like that, right? But you're still in a bit of a city, and you get more of that city experience. Yeah. And it has more stuff than Rimbey does for sure.
Exactly.
A lot more to do.
There's no disrespect, though, because Rimbey is awesome.
Rimbey's a time. No, I don't regret growing up in Rimbey at all. It was good. I enjoyed it.
since you've moved to Camrose, I know family has always been a big thing for you. Growing up with Benina and Will, which is his mom and dad, your brother Trevor.
Yeah.
You guys were always a very tight-knit community, and that has shown throughout college for sure, because they're at every game they can get their hands on. So that experience of growing up so close with your brother especially, did you feel like growing up you were constantly trying to catch Trevor? You were constantly trying to exceed Trevor?
100%.
Yeah.
Everything was a competition. It really didn't matter what we were doing. Mm-hmm. It was always, who could do it better. And of course it was 95% of the time Trevor growing up.
Right.
He's 3 years older, so he generally had the advantage, and he generally liked to exploit it.
Yes.
So he didn't let me win much. It was tough. It was tough, but it was good, because you kind of learn how to lose. You kind of learn how to battle through that.
Right.
But he was not nice about it. I remember one time specifically we were playing NHL 09 on the PS2.
Okay.
And I was winning.
Right.
And it was like the first time I'd ever been winning, right? And we got down to like 30 seconds left in the third period, and I was up like 3-1. So it's like, I'm going to win. And Trevor reached forward, clicks the power button on the PS2, and just shuts it off.
That's so funny.
And I jumped out of my chair, and I tackled him out of his chair, and we dove on the ground and immediately broke into a huge fight. Luckily my cousin was there, so he broke us up. But I was so mad.
Yeah.
It was just the first time I've ever winning, and he just shuts it off.
Yeah.
So that describes about what it was like.
Fair enough. It's honestly, your guys' relationship is awesome. The first time Trevor came here, it was great, because it's like you see Tyler in one room, and then if you're not paying attention and you're a little inebriated, you run into the next room and you see a carbon copy. It's awesome.
That's fair. No, that was growing up. I called Trevor all the time.
Yeah.
Ty-Rever or Tryler. there was every combination. But he never let me win.
All right.
At either of them.
But that's okay, because you guys are in different things. Like, he is currently in farm, right?
Yeah, pharmacy, yeah.
And Tyler is hoping to go into medicine, but we'll see which portion of medicine.
And I mean, we've definitely grown out of it. Like, it's a lot less about competition now, for sure. Like, you get older and you realize that that's not that important. So.
Exactly.
No, we're pretty good friends now. We get along. Don't fight that much, so it's nice, for sure.
But the sibling rivalry is something that you can only get in one place.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And then, we had, because Jasmine was there too, but she never really participated much.
Yeah.
At some points, it turned to me and Trevor versus her, which was always interesting.
Okay. To be honest, I would expect Jasmine to find a way to win.
She fought dirty.
Well, that's what you have to do when your brother's a giant.
Yeah, man. Bro. Well, yeah. She had 5 years on me, so she was generally bigger. We didn't pick on her too much because she was mean. She'd go for pressure points, and you'd get so mad, and then she'd video you and play it back just to piss you off even more.
Yeah.
But
all right. So, growing up in Rimbey, coming to Camrose, it was mainly because of basketball, but also because of school. Would you say that the attraction of being able to get a U of A degree while being able to play in the ACAC was another big reason?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Basketball was probably the biggest reason. And my degree, because I got recruited to go to Olds as well, but I didn't have anything I wanted to take at Olds, and I thought about maybe trying to go to Kings, but they didn't have a good team, and I didn't really want to go there. So Augustana was, and it was something new, right? My brother had gone to Kings, my sister had gone to Kings, so it's kind of, wanted to do my own thing. So Augustana really appealed to me, and like I said, it is a U of A degree, right? So
exactly.
You're still getting a high quality education that's recognized very well everywhere. So that definitely was mostly what brought me here. I don't know, it would have been interesting because, I tore my ACL in grade 11, right? So I didn't play at all grade 12, so I didn't have a whole lot of recruiting opportunities.
Right.
So who knows, if I would have played grade 12, maybe I would have ended up going somewhere else, because also I didn't have a lot of coaches talking to me. Like, it was basically Drabs and the Olds coach were the only ones that actually reached out. So that also was a pretty big influence. I knew I could play here, right? So I chose to come here.
Yeah. Did you find it was particularly difficult to get in contact with coaches and stuff coming from such a small community?
A little, like, you have to do it all yourself is the thing, right? You have to reach out because you don't get noticed, right? Because you're 2A, unless you're going to provincials, which we did one year, which was nice. But like, otherwise that no coach is going to see you, right? So, luckily for me, I had a really good coach who told me that. He's like, you reaching out to coaches, and he's like, I'll help you. Like, you tell me where you want to go. I'll talk to the coach for you, even see if we can get him out to some games. So that was really helpful. But yeah, it's basically you decide where you want to go, and you reach out to that coach and see what you can make work. You don't get it handed to you, basically, when you're coming from a small town.
For sure. But that appearance at provincials, that is also in my book, because I saw a Facebook video. Did you guys end up winning that game on a buzzer beater?
No.
In 2017?
No, that was at half. Oh. And then we lost by 1.
Oh my god.
Yeah, bro, it was a wild game, because that was our second game. So we won our first game against Three Hills, and then we were playing the number 1 seeded team. Okay. I think we were 7th seed. Right. And yeah, it came down to no one scored in the last 5 minutes of the game. Like, it was nuts. And then it came down to right at the end, it was 55-54, I think, and we had another buzzer beater shot, and it rimmed out. Yeah, it was so deflating. Yeah. But yeah, we were right there. It was definitely a wild time for sure, and it did get me noticed. Like, that's where the Olds coach actually reached out. Oh, okay. Because of that. And I actually got invited to participate on another traveling team because of it. I didn't end up doing it, but yeah, provincials was actually huge for just kind of getting recognized and getting out there. Yeah. So.
Well, that is basketball.
Yeah.
It's a big part of our lives.
It is. The chances of
us coming back to this topic are very, very high. But, I am positive that Tyler has a bunch of different outlets that he is willing to talk about outside of that. Yeah. So if you're ready for the first question, Tyler.
Sure.
All right. When it comes to your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health, what makes you happy?
What makes me... That's in the words of Jaron, that's a loaded question.
Yes.
Faith is a big part for me. Right. Like you said, spiritual health. I find that the more I drift from faith, the more I kind of waver in my happiness. Okay. Right? I have highs and lows. But the more I stay grounded in my faith, the more steady I can usually be. Right. And just kind of keep myself in a good place, so that I'm not having those big highs and those big lows, right? So that's really important to me. Physical activity, working out. Yeah. Like when we lost the gyms, it was tough. I'm so happy we got the stuff from Nick's dad. Yeah. And we're able to work out, because that's just it's something you can do that just gets you moving, right? Gets the blood flowing, and it really it's a good study break and stuff like that, just to get your mind away and do something different, but still be productive in a sense. Right. So that's pretty important. Music is another one I'd say, both listening and playing. As you know, I picked up guitar, and that's just it's just very relaxing. It's just something I can do to kind of escape, get to my own little world, focus on something else, and forget about what else is going on. Yeah. The last thing I would say is lately, I just try and take some time each day, or especially when I'm having a bad day, to just remind myself to be grateful. Remind myself where I am, how many other people would love to be where I am. Yeah. And all the good things I got going. Just reminding myself of that usually lifts me up, and it kind of puts those other things, it puts it all into perspective, right? Even though I'm having a bad day and things are going poorly, I still have an amazing life that I wouldn't give up for anything, right? So reminding myself of that really, really tends to boost my mood and just keep me, like I said, more level and more grounded, for sure.
I would like to ask, because I was talking to Nick about this yesterday. We were a very like-minded group of people in this house. Not in every respect, but just in terms of spirituality as a whole, it seems to be something that everybody who was in our house was very open to. Yeah. And has living with Cale in the last 2 years really helped you stay grounded to your faith? Because I've noticed your guys' your ability to go to church on a regular basis has increased dramatically since he got
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just having a buddy, right? Because
Right.
then someone else is pushing you to do it. It's same with gym, right? If you don't want to go, but all of a sudden your friend is like, yeah, I'm going. It's like, oh, well, can't let him down too, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah, that definitely helps for sure. Yeah, Cale, it's been really nice having Cale around because he challenges you, right?
Oh, yeah.
He asks some pretty big questions sometimes, and some of them I know the answers to, and some of them I just sit there and I go like,
I don't know how you thought of that.
but yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know, man. But then, yeah, it makes me think about it and makes me go research it on my own.
Right.
So yeah, that's been really nice. And when you were around too, it was the same thing, right? You guys were open to it, which just makes it a whole lot easier, right? If you know you're not going to be criticized or
Right.
like you don't have to try and hide it as much. You can share what you're thinking spiritually openly,
Exactly.
and your roommates are going to challenge you about it and give you new perspectives. It's definitely very nice and helps. It's helped my faith a lot for
That's
sure.
good.
Because yeah, part of growing is challenging it, right, and finding where you're struggling, and then being able to justify it and come up with reasons to support like your faith. And Cale has helped with that, right? 'Cause
Right.
He'll ask those questions, and you'll go, oh, I never thought of that, but yeah, that's something that like kind of I might have struggled with without really knowing it, and then once I address it, then I can go to the Bible or go to church and find reasons to get past it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. And from somebody on the other side of it, Tyler, like growing up so far from my spiritual beliefs and from my religion, like coming into this situation was nothing but a blessing because it gave me more opportunities to learn, because it gives you an opportunity to challenge your faith with the questions that we're willing to ask. But not only that, it helps me and others clarify the questions that I had growing up with specifically Catholicism, but just faith in general, because I just think it's such a good tool when it comes to building a community, that if people are willing to accept it, not to the point where they need to practice, but they'll acknowledge it and they're willing to take it as a form of knowledge, regardless of if they're going to employ it, they're going to be better off.
Yeah.
Because you can talk to more people that way.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, like I said, I grew up in the church, but I'd say that my faith didn't really start until I got to college.
Right.
Like, yeah,
Right.
I always went to church, but it was kind of just, that's what you did, right? You didn't really think about it that much. And like you said, it wasn't really challenged growing up because, yeah, I went to a Christian school for all of my, from K to 9, right? So, I grew up pretty sheltered in that sense, right? I wasn't exposed to the other opinions of what was out there. It was just like, yeah, this is it. So this is what I'll do. And then all of a sudden you get out there and it's like, whoa, like
Life
some of
is
this other
very
stuff
different.
actually kind of makes sense. And then you have to work through it and really find out why you believe.
Yeah.
Right? Find out why you're choosing this over, other religions or not a religion or anything like that. And then that really helped my faith grow and solidify it, and that yes, this is actually what I want to believe, not what my parents are telling me to believe, but what I actually want to believe and pursue.
And to me, that's the most important part of the spiritual journey is like in parenting as a whole, but especially with religion, you got to be a guide, but you cannot be like a heavy-handed force.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I like coming into like the house and stuff like that. It's I try not to evangelize too much because like I said, I don't want to be that guy who's always always all on you about religion and pressuring you, because I know I wouldn't like that, right? So and I think my parents did a really good job growing up of not forcing us per se, not like if we did something wrong, it wasn't like, oh, like you're a devil child.
Exactly.
So I thank them a lot. They did a good job of raising us in the faith and not putting too much pressure around it, I'd say.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, fair enough. Having supportive parents is something everybody needs.
Yeah, supportive and not going too far. Because I know a lot of kids, right, who grow up in the church and then they go off on their own, and it's like, no, like that's my parents' thing, and like you always have that little bit of a rebellious stage, right, and that's usually where a lot of people lose that sort of faith, right?
So coming into Camrose, like we've said before, we're both studying biology. I have hopes of being a teacher, but Tyler is a chem minor, and the dreams just involve the medical world.
They do.
But surrounding that, did you find the type of learning that we did when we got here challenged your faith in one way or another? Or was it very nice to see that you can believe wholeheartedly what you believe on the religious side and still be educated the way that we were?
Yeah, no, I don't think it challenged it per se. It opened me to another side of things. And I think our profs, like, they did a really good job of explaining it and being like, hey, like, science is just one way. I think it was Hove said this. He's like, science is just one way of explaining the world.
Exactly.
Just because a lot of people believe it's the best doesn't mean it's the best. Doesn't mean it's the only way, right? This is the way we choose to look at it. We analyze things. We come up with scientific facts, cause and effect. But that doesn't mean religion is discounted. Like, it's another way of looking at the world. It has its benefits. So is language arts and English. Like, they're all different ways of looking at the world. So that was nice. And I found, like, with my religion, like, a lot of people like evolution, and they think evolution and Christianity can't go together, but
they can.
Like, if you treat evolution as like an ideology, then maybe you can struggle with it more.
Right.
But like, just looking at evolution and looking at Christianity, to me, I say, hey, God created the world, but I don't know how he did it. Like,
exactly.
Do I think he literally did it in 7 days like it says in the Bible? No, probably not. Maybe. Again, I don't know. So I believe that, evolution is equally as possible, right? God created the world somehow, so why didn't he do it this way? Why didn't he do it in a way that we can figure out that makes sense? They haven't really clashed in that sense, my education and my faith. So that's been nice.
Yeah, it is good. And then the one other thing I wanted to touch on, the music. During that quarantine, I know you said it's like an escape, but is it more of an opportunity for you to express yourself? Because I've noticed when it comes to Tyler expressing who Tyler is, outside of your clothing, which has changed very much since we got here. Your expression of yourself through your clothing has changed a lot. But outside of that, it seems that you were just always a very simple and very easily interpreted human being on the surface level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'd say I was more of just, I didn't want to, I guess coming in, like, I cared a lot about what people thought, and I always wanted to please everyone. I was a people pleaser, so I was always like, okay, don't step on anyone's toes, like, kind of read out the situation and don't share who I am until I know who everyone else is, right? So yeah, that comes, I guess, you said it right, comes across as I'm pretty simple, straightforward, because I will agree with most people.
Right.
I avoid conflict, but the older I get, the more I realize that I don't care as much what other people think. Right? Like, I don't have to care about what everyone thinks of me, and it's not that important. Like, I'm happier if I'm myself.
Exactly.
So that has, I think, blossomed over the years in college, and it's one of the benefits of moving away, and getting to see other people's perspectives, and then learning what my own is, and that it's okay to be who I am. I don't have to walk around on eggshells trying to please everyone. Right.
Well, I got a couple of things to say about that. First of all, when we got here, the dynamic at Augustana, well, I can't speak to it now because I don't go to school here anymore, but the dynamic in basketball for us was it was a very tough road to walk, because we were trying to fit into a system, but we were constantly getting beat up throughout the week in practice. And there were some very, very good athletes when we got here. And it's like, I don't want to get in your way, but I'm also entitled to learn.
Yeah, I want to get better.
So, like, navigating that must have been very, very tough.
Yeah, it was for sure. Basketball was, for the first 2 years, it was hard. Like, I struggled.
Mentally and physically?
Yeah, like, it was just tough, right? You go to practice, and then, you don't get in very much, and you're never playing on the weekends, and you're like, well, what am I committing all this time to, right? Like, So yeah, during my second year, I went through a phase where I was like, I'm not 100% sure if I want to keep doing this even. But it got better, and our team has a very good dynamic actually.
So good.
Like it's competitive, of course, and
the way it should be.
Rightfully so. But the guys are good. Especially the more we've gone up, like the more I've just built a better relationship with the team. And that of course helps. So I try, in practice coming up, we know that, it's tough when you start. So I'm trying to be better in a sense, and help the first year guys out and stuff like that, and make sure that they feel that they're welcome and there's a place for them on the team. But yeah, it was a struggle. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you see how far you've come, Tyler, because we were in the same situation in first year. You started seeing action in second year. The coronavirus completely takes away third year. But I was on the website the other day, and now you're averaging 14 and 8 on 53.6% from the field,
And for sure, going back to like what I said, expressing myself more, that's also helped so much in basketball.
Yeah.
Because like for the first couple of years, I was absolutely terrified of Chad, right?
Right.
And then, so first year, I kind of knew I was going to play, so it was like whatever. But then second year, like you said, I got a little bit of action, and I started our first league games of the season, and I played just terrible. Right. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't playing anymore, and then every time I went out, I was just so focused on Chad's expectations and not my own that I was I was paralyzed. I was terrified to do anything. So I never played good. And then, I had like one good game, and then I started going, and then I rolled my ankle and got a blood clot.
Oh, God. Tyler's injury history has been absolutely insane.
But after that, and third year, and now into this year, it's kind of learning that Chad has these expectations, but also like realizing that they're not the end all be all, right? I can still express myself in the court, and playing for me, not playing for him.
Exactly.
Has probably been the biggest change, and that's helped a lot.
The second question, Tyler, when it comes to the days, because akin to Nick, you don't really like labeling a day, this is one of the worst days. It's very easy, and it's more productive for us just to take the perspective that, yes, this is awful, but we're going to wake up tomorrow. But on those worst days, what's getting you through it?
Friends, probably the biggest thing. Like, third year when everything was all online, like I had some of the shittiest days of my life, right? Like coming in, I was just coming off a breakup too, right? And then we came in, and I'd kind of, we broke up in the summer, and then I stifled it, and then all of a sudden you come back to school and you're back in that environment, and it was just, it all hit me, and then we moved online, and it was like, it sucked. But then we really started to come together as roommates, right? And then it was, I had some of the best times of my life, actually, like over Christmas break when we were all up here pulling our all-nighter and doing presentation night. Man, it was so much fun. So I'd say friends are a big part, family and faith, right? The 3 big F's for me, I guess.
There you go.
Friends were probably the biggest when I was up here for sure, and then just having that family to also fall back on, and knowing that they're in my court, and then leaning on my faith when I'm having a bad day too, just praying and taking a moment, and like I said, being grateful and reminding myself that it's going to be okay. Kind of helps me get through.
Well, it's good to hear. I don't mean to poke, because this probably was not the worst day of your life, but you broke 2 of your wrists consecutively.
Oh, man.
Within the same 2 weeks, and then we're walking around with casts like this. So how did you get through that situation?
That was interesting, because it was grade 10, so I just started a new school.
Right.
And it was going all right. Like I said, I was pretty quiet. I didn't get out a whole lot, wasn't that outgoing. So in that sense, actually the risks kind of helped, because it was such a good icebreaker, right? Everybody wants to know, so many people talk to me, which pros and cons, right? It gets a little annoying, but also I made a lot of friends because of it. And like in grade 10, like it was tough, but I don't know, it seems to pale in comparison.
Oh yeah,
like
for
life was still so simple then, right? Like
yeah.
it was still so straightforward. I was living with my parents. I had 2 broken wrists, but it really didn't seem like the end of the world.
No.
It was what it was. So yeah, it was definitely frustrating. And a bit embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
But not the worst thing in the world.
No,
for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you're 15, everything is the end of the world. So.
Yeah. My coach was not very happy with me. It's just, it's a good support system knowing that my family has my back if everything goes out the window. Like, it's nice to have. Like, even with my new car, like. For those of you who don't know, I bought a new car and I've had a lot of problems with it.
And I bought Tyler's old car. It was awesome. It was a really good exchange.
It was a good exchange. But yeah, my dad has picked it up twice for me from up here and brought it back home to Rimby to help me out with it. And he's helped me pay for a few things on it, right? So just having that support is really nice, for sure. Reassuring, I guess, is a good way to put it.
Honestly, man, the Weeninks are awesome, and I'm not going to speak for your parents, but I know that you and your brother, and I don't know Jasmine as well, but obviously your sister as well, have made them incredibly proud, because they would not be going to the extremes that they are going to help you guys get through everyday life if that wasn't the case. So it's just good to see. It's a good dynamic. I know that you had the opportunity this year. For those of you who don't know, once you get to your senior level courses, especially in our programs, Chem and Biology, you usually get the opportunity to teach in a first or second year course, and you just finished doing that.
I did.
So I would like to know, obviously, because we went through the hell that was the vitamin C lab and the escape room lab in first year chemistry. Was it a very enlightening experience being able to walk the first years through that type of learning?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Like, when you're going through it, it seems like it's the worst thing ever, and then you get to your second year, and then you're like, oh, this is the worst thing ever, and then you get to your third year, and you're like, oh, this is so much worse. So, like, you do feel bad for them in a sense, but also it's like, you want to show them that, like, I know this sucks, but, like, you're going to get through, and yeah, if you can get through it, you'll probably get through the next year. But like, it's not, I don't know.
It's not that bad.
No,
which is hard to convey to them. Because coming in first year, it's such a jump.
It is that
right?
bad.
It is that bad. But looking back, you go, okay, yeah, maybe I blew it out of proportion a little bit. But no, they were good. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to help them. It was a very good experience. The craziest part, I had one kid come up to me and he's like, can I still withdraw from the course? And I was like, yeah, you can, but like you probably shouldn't.
Right.
And so I felt bad. Like I was trying to help this kid through, and I went and talked to him, and then it was so bad because I thought, like you said, the vitamin C lab was the worst lab, probably almost still that I've ever taken. And I thought we'd just like finish the post, like he was getting that mark back on his post lab. So I was like, don't worry, like this is the hardest lab. Like you made it through it. Like you can finish out the semester.
But it turns out I was wrong.
And that was the vitamin C one was the one he just handed in.
Okay.
And then I just told him it was the hardest lab. Yeah. He just handed it in. So that probably didn't help, and he did end up withdrawing, which was unfortunate, which was sad. But yeah, it's part of school, I guess. But it was interesting for the kids this year, especially because they're coming from all online. So
exactly.
A lot of them, they're doing things, and you're like, what? Why did you think this was a good idea? But you got to remember that they haven't had any sort of experience in lab. So it was definitely fun to try and get them through that experience.
Well, the biggest thing that I've learned from my first and a half semester in the actual education faculty is that regardless of what you want to do, Tyler, you're not going to be able to help everybody, right? And you did the best you could, and not only that, you're going to learn from this experience. Exactly. The people that come next, they're going to be better equipped. And honestly, chemistry, the first 2 weeks of it was physics when we got to first year, and I didn't take physics in high school, so I didn't sign up for that. I was not happy. That's fair. These people, sometimes it's just not for them, and that is A-okay, to be honest.
That is. it's hard to get that across.
Yeah.
Without sounding
pretentious. I did this, whatever, you'll be
maybe
fine.
It's just not for you.
Yeah. No.
That's the worst thing you want to hear is this.
No, exactly. But if you do hear that, you have an option, right?
Yeah.
You either accept it or you don't.
Yeah, it makes you analyze it a little more.
I don't know, for us, we got here in first year, and everybody other than Josh, because Josh was the example, said the same thing. Keaton, Tyler, you're both going to drop out of your Bachelor of Science because it's too hard to do while you're doing basketball. And while that is true, when it's your passion, it's not going to happen.
We made it. I don't know how Josh did it in 4 years.
No.
Like, that blows my mind.
And not only that, like, he is at the top of the top, cream of the crop, and then Tyler's here, and then the rest of the average people are down here. Like, that's where we like to rock, but it's okay. All right. So, the last question has a time frame. So if we're talking about the last 6 months and then the coming 6 months of everything that you are knowledgeable about, is there anything in particular that you're super thankful for? And then in the future, is there anything in particular that you're dreading or you're just worried about in general?
Thankful for over the last 6 months. That's a tough one. Mm-hmm. Not to be repetitive, but I'm still thankful for my roommates and my friends. Like, you and Jaron moved out, which sucked, but Mark and Evan have come in, and they've been really good to live with, right? And Nick and Cale.
Yeah, man.
So that was one of the biggest things I looked forward to when I was coming back to school, was just being back living with my best friends and hanging out. So that's been a big thing that I've been thankful for. Yeah, I'm just thankful for the opportunity, like, to play and start this year.
Right.
Like, it's
finally time.
It's fun. It's so much fun, right? It's this year's been good so far. And coming off of online school, going back to having just a little bit in person was just so nice. Because last year was probably the hardest year of my life. Not gonna lie. It sucked.
There were some dark days for sure.
Yeah, there was. So coming back to being in person, playing basketball again, playing against other teams, and getting to play a lot has probably been the biggest thing I'm thankful for. Dreading going forwards. Writing the MCAT.
I was about to say, man, I know the answer to this question.
Like you've seen, I made a whole big study plan, and I had it as my computer background for last semester, and I had set times where I was going to study.
And I didn't.
Nope. This is real life, man.
Yeah. So moving forward this semester, I got to start studying for it. But it's tough. There's just so much to know.
It's a very daunting task.
I did a practice test, and it was terrible. So. Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing right now, and then, but yeah, otherwise that I don't think there's too much that I'm dreading per se.
No. Well, hopefully, from what you guys have told me, there's no plans for you guys not to be able to finish out the end of the year. So everything that you're thankful for will hopefully get you through to the end of the year.
Yes.
And then once you get there, it's just employing that study plan, because everybody wants to see you go where you want to go, Ty. Yeah. And whatever we can do to make that happen, help make that happen, that's probably a number one goal, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be a doctor. That's too much work. But it would be super cool if I could help you get where you need to be.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And you have, like, having a roommate who's in your degree is pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Moving to Edmonton this year, that one of the biggest things was, like, well, I guess it really happened for the first time in third year, because that's when our schedules started to diverge, because I had to start I took more evolutionary biology classes because that's what I was into, and I didn't have to do the chem stuff that you got
ahead of me.
Exactly. So that first realization, I was like, I'm not going to get through this first bio class without Tyler. It's not going to happen. And then I survived. But then it happens to the point where it's like, okay, he's in a completely different city. It's not going to happen. And then I survived. Yeah, but I think just being around each other, we were able to get through it. because even the stuff that like didn't make sense, our community was small enough that we could find a way.
Find someone to help make it make sense. For sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
When you make me accidentally admit I was sleeping on Zoom.
Yeah. Whoops. Oh, that was honestly,
that was
man,
hilarious. That
the
was
first
so
semester
funny.
of Zoom University was definitely the best. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody wants to be there. Oh God.
Yeah.
But
good times.
Outside of that, I think we are at the point, Tyler, where we're doing everything that we can do to be on the right path. And this is real life. We're entitled to make mistakes, and as long as we're learning from them, that's all that matters. Yeah. And that's the goal.
That is the goal. That is the goal.
So
figure it out one mistake at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Speaking from my experience, I think Tyler's doing all right.
Trying my best.
Exactly. And that's all we can ask.
Yeah, exactly.
So, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we cut off this here episode?
Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
I'm assuming a lot of my friends are going to listen to this, so thanks, guys.
The dogs.
I appreciate all of you. And I guess biggest thing is also I'm here for all my friends. So if any of you need anything, want to reach out to someone, my door's always open.
Exactly.
I'm willing to talk. Might not always know what I'm saying, but
I'll
be there and I can listen.
It's good. And I appreciate that, Tyler.
Yeah.
Like, there might not have been like a bunch of existential issues that I encountered when I was here, but you have definitely helped me through becoming somebody who is, I wouldn't say I'm confident enough in myself to say that I could teach a class and feel confident they would do well. But
be fine.
Being able to work my way through these problems and this critical thinking, obviously I learned a lot of it from my professors, but learning from you, from an experience that I didn't go through, small town Alberta, having school and sports be the only way to get out, that wasn't a part of my experience. So all 21 years of our lives is knowledge that can be shared to everybody.
Exactly.
So thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, another one done. I appreciate those of you who are listening. If you made it through to the end, then you're the realist, and we really appreciate it. Tyler, thanks for coming on.
Anytime. Appreciate it, man.
I'll be right back, man. Sarah's upstairs making noise right now. We'll get her down here and get that interview done.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
No worries.